Hello, thanks for joining me for Samuel in summertime. It's Samuel in summer. Today is Friday, June 17th, and this is the 17th chapter of the second book of Samuel. If you will remember, Absalom has taken Jerusalem. He is holding court in Jerusalem and he is planning on getting rid of his father. And so he goes to his counselor, Ahithophel. Ahithophel. And he says that the counselor says to Absalom, get 10,000 men, and this very night we'll set out to get David. And we'll just attack him, and we will strike only the king, and then all the people will follow us now because the king is gone, and they will come home to you like a bride. The people that are with David will come home to you like a bride comes home to her husband. He says the easiest way to do this is to seek the life of one man, and then everyone will be at peace. And so Absalom is pleased with the advice. However, just to check on it, he asks Hushai. Now remember, Hushai is a counselor that has remained in Jerusalem undercover at the instruction of King David, or maybe on the behest of King David. Like maybe it was Hushai's idea. Can't really remember whose idea it was, but Hushai is there and he's loyal to King David, but he's undercover. So Hushai says, well, this advice that you've gotten from Ahithophel is not good. For the first time, he has given you not good advice. Your father is a great warrior. His men are great warriors. This is not a good plan. If he lies in wait for you and strikes down the first, so if they're going to have 12,000 men, if they strike down the first 1,000 of them, then they will feel fear and they will flee, and it will be a slaughter. And it will be known among the troops that it's been a slaughter. It will be bad for morale, I guess, is the kind of what he's saying. And what he asks Absalom to do is to amass a great number of people, which takes time to build an arsenal and build up the people. He asks that Israel be gathered from Dan to Beersheba. So it's like the sand by the sea for multitude, and that you go into battle in person that way. And then wherever we find David at that time, when we're ready, we strike him then. So he has all these details about how they're going to do that. So Absalom, to his detriment, gets the idea that Hushai the Archite is better advisor to him than Ahithophel, and he decides to go with the advice of Hushai the Archite. So Hushai is then communicates in his underground railroad kind of way to the priest Zadok and Abiathar at Jerusalem, and he concludes so he gives them this information to give to David to warn him that Absalom is amassing this army and he's coming, and this is the direction he'll be coming from. So he gives him this warning, and he gives it through the sons of these two priests. The sons' names are Jonathan and Ahimaaz. And Jonathan and Ahimaaz are at a certain place. It's called En-Rogel, and they are getting in touch with a servant girl that will get them in touch with it. But then a boy who is loyal to Absalom sees this happen and goes and tells Absalom. So they're found out. So what they do is they hide at En-Rogel, and the woman who is uh, at the house there where they were, hides them in a well. She takes a covering and stretches over the mouth of the well, and then she spread grain on it. And you couldn't tell where it was. So when Absalom's servants came looking for those two guys, the sons of the sons of the chief priests, they couldn't find them, and she lied to them about where they were. So then they got back out of the well, and they went and told the king what they were supposed to tell the king. David said, "Go and cross the water quickly." Or they said to David, "Go cross the water quickly, for thus so has Ahithophel counseled against you." So David and all the people with him set out and crossed the Jordan. And by daybreak, no one was left who had not crossed the Jordan. So they went across, and they got in a different place where they wouldn't be found by Absalom. But when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not being heeded by Absalom, he went to his own home, and there he hung himself. So the commentator in my Bible says that maybe this story, having known this story, the author of the Gospel of Matthew likened this to the Judas hanging himself. Like there's similar like reasoning behind it. We've done the wrong thing. The king has lost his confidence in us. So in Judas' cases, it's Jesus. In this case, it's the usurper king Absalom lost his confidence in us, and so we hang ourselves. And then he died. Then he died, and he was buried with his father. So then David goes back to the place which used to be the stronghold of Saul's son. Let me see if I can remember his name. Ishbal. Manhaim is the Mahanaim. That's where he is, and it used to be the stronghold for Ishbal, but now it's a place where David has found refuge because Absalom is after him. And it just has more details about how Absalom is shoring up his political future by putting certain people who would be identified with Judah in charge of the army instead of the ones that were previously in charge of the army. So he's done some replacements there. That kind of gives us those kind of details. And then it also says that David received a lot of support from the neighboring, I guess, kingdoms or towns or encampments around where he was, and it names them, and like the Ammonites and the Gildites, the Gileadite, and I guess those are the only two groups of people that are identified, but they bring things that an army needs on the road, like beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and meal and parched grain and beans and lentils and honey and curds and sheep and all kinds of things, because they realized that the troops would be thirsty and hungry. And so they helped support David's campaign there, and that he is kind of exiled from Jerusalem but looking to come back. So he has his allies among the people outside of Israel as well as the ones inside of Israel. And the scene is set. The battle is not happened yet, but you can see that the forces are coming together, and it's really more like they're chasing David across the Jordan, and you could see that this is going to happen, that these two armies are going to clash, and there's going to be a resolution to this insurgence of Absalom against his father's claim to the throne. So we have to see how this goes. And in chapter 18, the battle takes place. I hope you will have a beautiful day and enjoy reading the stories of all these armies and strategies and spies and secrets and hiding places in wells. Very exciting stuff. And who knew was in the Bible. So God bless you. Take care. Bye.